Dombe mo dombe, wedi ama kamale. Ajidi ayanyolo, ayarako. Monamo monami, dombe mo dombe, akamale. Ajidi ayanyolo, ayarako.
Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. This quote from Helen Taylor. Hey, yeah, good afternoon. Good morning, good evening, from wherever you're tuning from. Good time, bon après-midi. We are live and you're tuning to Youth Avenue, the Lunchtime Show here on Premier FM Ghana. The best talk show in GH. Today is the 27th day in the month of October in the year 2020. And my name is Laina Yoko, your host this afternoon. As usual, time check 42 minutes past 12. And if you just tune in, do me a favor, start a watch party, share, because Youth Avenue is live. Take a stay, enjoy your afternoon by listening, by watching Youth Avenue, educative, informative talk show with 6 to educate every individual out there, especially the youth. Youth Avenue, the youth are concerned, so don't forget to share. Let's educate people out there. Because education, like I say all the time, is the best thing you can give yourself. As usual on Youth Avenue, we have segments. The first segment, which is our health segment, and our motivational segment, and our letters to now segment, which comes off on Wednesdays, and our discussion segment. It's all about educative, informative, and entertaining stuff on Youth Avenue. Remember, Youth Avenue is brought to you by Royal Media College School of Journalism, Media Studies and Languages. Royal Media College is certified, approved by GES, and also affiliated with ICM, England. Royal Media College offers courses like media and journalism, under which they have radio and TV presentation, sport presentation, camera handling, graphic designing, photography, video and sound editing, DJing, and many more. The good news is that admission is still in progress. So grab this opportunity. You can locate Royal Media College at Kwashiman inside the Hill City, opposite the Happy Kids School. Yes, Kwashiman, you are quite be a good that pass, but oh, call question man.
I'm a friend is Subani.
So when you get to question man, you ask of Happy Kids School. Royal Media College is just opposite. You can pick up your form at the office at Question Man, or you can download online at www.royalmedia.g8.com. For further information, you can call Royal Media College on 0244 611 055 or 02756 11055. Segment. We are still looking at fever. We'll look at a few causes, how to diagnose fever.
I sing this song for you.
So yesterday we looked at what fever is, how to treat it. Today let's look at the causes. Fever can result from various factors, including an infection such as strep throat and flu, chicken pox, or even COVID-19. Yes. Also, by exposing the skin to sunlight or sunburn can cause your temperature to rise or to experience fever. Heat stroke either due to high ambient temperatures or prolonged strenuous exercise. Also silicosis, which is a type of lung disease caused by long-term exposure to silica dust. Let's look at how fever is diagnosed. Fever is a symptom, not an illness. A doctor can diagnose a fever by checking the person's body temperature, but they also need a diagnose to diagnose the reason for the fever. To do so, they would examine the individual and ask them about other symptoms and their medical history. If the person has recently experienced another infection, if they have recently had surgery, or if there is pain or swelling in one area, it may indicate what kind of infection is likely to be present. To confirm a diagnosis, the doctor may recommend a blood test, a urine test, imaging test. So the prescription normally that is treated or that is prescribed is determined by the cause of the fever. Let's look at how to prevent fever. To prevent fever, people should follow the usual steps by reducing the risk of an infection. And this includes regular hand washing, staying away from people who are unwell, that is, who are sick. So in summary, fever is usually a symptom of an infection. It is not usually a cause for concern, but the underlying illness may need medical treatment. So that's it for our health segment. But before I move on to my motivational segment, let me tell you that COVID-19 still exists. So regular washing of hands with soap and water under running water is very important. Using of alcohol-based sanitizer, wearing our nose masks, observing social distancing. Let's do well and practice the safety protocols so that we'll stay alive and healthy. Moving on to our motivational segment. Wayne says that what we think determines what happens to us. If we want to change our lives, we need to stretch our minds. What we think determines what happens to us. So if you want to change your life, if you want to change something about you, then you need to stretch your mind.
Power to the nation. Yeah, mama, you are the baby.
Stretch your mind. So today on our segment, we have an important interview with Bishop Dr. Charles Aban, who just launched his book just this weekend. We want to know more about the book. Who is Bishop Dr. Charles Aban? Stick and stay, still Youth Avenue live here in the studios of Premier FM. Premier FM, power to the nations. Do me a favor, share, like, comment. But on our main discussion today, we are looking at schizophrenia. A lot of people out there, we are suffering from this disorder, but we are not aware. Remember, you can send in your comments, your contributions, your birthday messages to your loved ones, and we'll gladly read them. Let's get interactive, be part of us. So we are moving on to an interview segment this afternoon with Bishop Dr. Charles Aban. Stick and stay. Hello, good afternoon, Bishop Doctor.
Yeah, good afternoon, my dear sister. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself, please.
I'm also doing well.
Welcome to Premier FM, the Youth Avenue show.
Yeah, my greetings to your cherished listeners.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much for coming through. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you.
Okay, so please, Bishop, we were just informed last Sunday you launched a book, and we want to know more. And that is why today, this afternoon, we are having you on board. So kindly, if you can briefly tell us about who Bishop Dr. Charles Aban is before we move on to other questions.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon once again to your cherished listeners. I am Bishop Charles Aban, the Chief Executive Officer of the Rock Hospital, as well as the Rock School.
Okay.
I am also the General Overseer of the Miracle Rock Church International and the founder of the International Clergy Association.
Interesting.
So
okay.
I'm married with 4 children.
Oh, okay. Now, that's interesting. So much on your plate, Dr. Bishop Charles Aban. Okay, great to have you once again. So, Doctor, can you tell us the title of the book that you launched just this Sunday?
Yeah, thank God. The title of the book is Demystifying Coronavirus Plague.
Demystifying Coronavirus
Plague. A political, religious, and scientific insight of COVID-19.
Wow, that's deep. Okay, interesting. Can you tell us what inspired this book? What's the inspiration behind this book?
First of all, the Word of God has always inspired us. Okay. Anything that is on this earth is being inspired by the Word of God. And also the mystery about the virus, defying all the sciences and other things.
Interesting. Okay.
What also inspired me is about the education about the COVID-19, as well as the awareness of COVID-19 and other things, please.
Okay, all right. So, so if I got you right, the inspiration is coming from God in the first place. That's the paramount thing. Then the mystery behind coronavirus.
Yeah.
So what does this book seek to achieve, if I may ask?
Like to educate the masses, as well as research purposes. An informative book that will create awareness of COVID-19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you briefly tell us a summary of the book with each chapters, if not all, at least a summary of the book, what to expect if someone should get the book, what are our expectations, what should be our expectation in terms of getting the concept and objective of the book?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, demystifying coronavirus plague is a political, religious, and scientific insight of COVID-19. So, chapter 1, we talk about understanding coronavirus, COVID-19. Now, the first part of this book talks about the origin of the virus, the technologies, the types, coronavirus. We know we have some types anyway, and how this COVID-19 differs from others. Right.
Okay.
Now, chapter 2 also, the say of the Bible on COVID-19. Like the second part of the book focuses on what really the Bible says about this COVID-19 by using scriptures. It also reviews why this coronavirus is not God's judgment unto man. There are other judgments, but this coronavirus is not God's judgment unto man. Now, when we come to the chapter 3 of the book, it is the church and COVID-19. It addresses the issue of how the church can survive in this uncertain time by employing certain key strategies. You can find it in the book.
Okay.
This is a book that everybody or church must have it. Now, the fourth chapter is understanding the times. Beloved, we are in the days that people do not even understand what is happening. Life is full of maybe 3 groups of people. People who do not know what is happening. People who sit just on the wall and they don't get themselves involved in anything. But people who understand the time. And the Bible talks about such people. It can be found in the Bible. So understanding the times. We are not in real time now. I want to tell everybody that don't take things for granted. To understand the times we are in now. The fifth one is my favorite. My vision on COVID-19, Bishop Dr. Charles Abad. My vision on COVID-19. Beloved, without vision, people perish.
Exactly.
And without knowledge as well, people perish. So the fifth addresses the vision of COVID-19 and how these stakeholders must come together. Number 1, spiritual and religious leaders, political leaders, scientists and researchers, as well as health workers, are to come together and work in tandem to bring the virus to a halt. It is not one-man affair. So these 4 or 5 groups of people must come together to bring down COVID-19. And these are spiritual and religious leaders, the political leaders, the scientists and the researchers, as well as health workers. That is number 5. Then number 6 is women are in the front lines in the fight against COVID-19. Now, as we heard about the book review, men are being attacked by COVID-19, as well as women. But the women are in the front line. So if women will get themselves involved, this book will show you how many women are involved and what they are doing to curtail COVID-19. But last but not the least is the role of gender-inclusive leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic. Gender-inclusive leadership during the COVID-19 pandemic. Lots of men are doing great things, they are doing good work. But if women will be given the opportunity, children, girls will be given opportunity, all will be given opportunity, this COVID-19 will not survive. I personally believe this is what God has
Judgment.
for us.
Okay, interesting.
And it must be a must for everybody to be part of it.
Interesting. So let me ask this, Doc. As a doctor, do you think that we can use EBA or we can get vaccine to treat COVID-19? Do you think we can treat it?
Yes. I know that in my book, I've mentioned some few people who are working on the vaccine, and they are doing very well. The scientists, Bob Gallo is one of them, the Senator is one of them. Many, many people are doing it in Europe, in America, in China, in all the places. So I personally believe that by the end of this year or early next year, 2021, God will give us a solution to that. And that
Amen.
will come through the scientists
Amen.
and the researchers.
Okay, interesting. But if I got you right, you said the sixth one is your favorite, which involves the stakeholders, the various stakeholders, the church. We have politicians coming on board to solve COVID-19. How do you think this is feasible? Is it possible to achieve? How do you intend bringing them together to be able to achieve their vision?
I'm not bringing them together. They are already in it. Because if we come to Ghana, the government was seriously in it by giving direction. The political leaders, by giving directions, how to go about it, by helping to finance certain programs and other things, by supporting people who are in need. And all these things are by the political leaders. When it comes to the health workers, yes, the doctors, the practitioners, the nurses, the laboratory, and all the people were in the forefront fighting. They were helping. Can you imagine if doctors are not in position, nurses are not there? How are we going to curtail the spread of this virus? So already they are in it. Now let me tell you, I want to announce to you that the heads of churches and all the economical groups, like the Christian Council, like the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, like the NCCC, as well as the National Clergy Association of Ghana, like the Agro and all these people, every Monday, 12 noon to 1 o'clock, we meet on Zoom to pray. Church of Pentecost are the people who sponsor the meeting, the Zoom. So this has been there for many, many weeks now or a month now. And we thank God that we are seeing it. And so we are already in some kind of relationship. And that is what I want to recommend that they should go on. Because let me tell you, with these 4 groups or 5 groups that I've spoken about, the political influence or leadership, the health workers, the religious leaders, as well as the scientists and the researchers bringing if we don't come together, I don't know how we can bring fruitful to the fight against COVID-19. So this is a favorite thing, and this is what God revealed to me, that let these people come together, and when they come together, no any other virus can survive under this leadership. Thank you.
Okay. Doc, before we ask where we can get the books, there are some people or Ghanaians who believe COVID-19 doesn't exist totally. What's your advice to every Ghanaians out there and to the world out there about COVID-19?
Like I told you, in life we have some people. We have 3 types of group of people. They don't know what is happening in life. They just sit on the fence. They don't know what is happening. They have some people they don't want to get involved in what is happening. And they have the third group of people who get things happening, who knows what is happening, who get involved in things happening, who makes things happen. Therefore, I will take such first group as ignorant people who don't want to learn. And I pray that I want to advise them that the symptoms are clear for coronavirus, COVID-19. Research have shown that it will give you fever, it will give you fatigue and dry throat. Subsequent symptoms include short breath, ache, neck sore or throat sore. These are all symptoms. So if you don't believe it, then it's a problem. But all that we want to advise is that we should be precautionary, or there should be a precaution and prevention.
Okay.
When we see people with mild symptoms that are otherwise stable, we must isolate them. They must contact their medical doctors for advice or testing or referral. Therefore, these are things they advise. Wash your hands daily with soap under running water, or rub your hands with alcohol sanitizer. Do not touch your eyes, nose, or mouth unless your hands are clean. Refrain from smoking and other lungs weakening activities. Practice physical distance by avoiding needless journeys and by keeping away from large gatherings. When coughing or sneezing, cover your nose and mouth with a disposable tissue or flexed elbow. Avoid close contact, 1 meter or 3 feet, with unwell individuals. Reside home and separate yourself from others in your family if you feel unwell. These are things we keep on saying it. And when you do that, I personally believe that you have taken some kind of precaution that will go well with you. I want to advise people that, fine, people are dying. As I speak to you, death has reached more than 1 million people or something. Figures keep on coming. Other countries are struggling. Temperate countries now have seen surge in coronavirus. Therefore, do not stay in your corner and say you don't believe in it. It has happened, and it's happening. Therefore, let us all join hands. Let us believe the science. Let us believe our doctors. Let us believe our political leaders. Let us believe our religious leaders and fight this coronavirus. Yes. And we shall be free.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. So how available are these books and when can we get them if someone wants one?
Beloved, you are an agent of distribution. For this interview, people would definitely want to call you to find out where you can get it. So at your office, what the name?
Premier FM. Premier FM.
What?
Premier FM.
Premier FM.
Yes, please.
To be custodian of majority of. They will have stock there.
Okay.
And anybody who want to come to Premier FM, you will get a copy. And let me tell you, it is 50. In fact, the knowledge in it is more than that.
Interesting.
And what we must get is more than that. Beloved, it is now being said that this is the first book in Ghana which is written about coronavirus. Therefore, please come to Premium FM or Media House and you will get a copy at 50 Ghana cedis. But in other countries, it is more than 50 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
In other countries, it is more than that. But for Ghana, because the thing started from Ghana, the book is written in Ghana. This is our contribution to the
this.
club.
Okay.
Thank you.
Demystifying Coronavirus Plague. Do you have any other books, Doc?
Yes, I have about 3 books that talks about my dreams.
Okay.
Then Break Your Alabaster Box. Then Demystifying
Coronavirus Plague. Interesting.
There are a lot of books, but on this one, the important thing is that all resources will be channeled through research. We have 2 organizations that is going to work on it. We have the Miracle Rock Foundation as well as the Miracle Rock Medical and Research Center. The foundation will take care of people who have been infected and affected by coronavirus. Then the Miracle Rock Medical and Research Center will support research work into coronavirus and other viruses.
Okay.
I want to thank you and bless you that you are a part of history making.
Amen. God bless you too, dog. We look forward to partnering with you, the Rock Hospital, and any other franchise or business you have. Great to have you once again.
Like I said, Miracle Rock Foundation, as well as Miracle Rock Medical and Research Center, and all the resources that will come out from these sales will go into these two organizations. And Miracle Rock Foundation is going to be used to support the infected and affected people, whilst Miracle Rock Medical and Research Center will be used to support research work on all kinds of viruses, including COVID-19.
Okay.
May the Lord bless you. Bless in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Bless you too. Have a nice day, Doc. God bless you so much.
Thank you for having me, and God bless you.
Great to have you as well. Okay. So that was Bishop Dr. Charles Aban of Miracle Rock Chapel and also Miracle Rock Hospital at Odoko. A great man who has 3 books to his name or to his credit. And this particular one is his vision, demystifying coronavirus plague. Interesting. Let's come on board. We are all stakeholders. To achieve this dream, we all need to come on board. But like he said, regular use of soap and water, washing our hands under running water, using alcohol-based sanitizers, observing social distancing. Let's do our part to curtail coronavirus, because it does exist. It is in existence. It is real. Take care of yourself out there. We need you to be alive. Coming together, we can fight this. It is not bigger than us. When we are together, we can fight anything. Let's come about. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you are tuning from. You are tuning to Youth Avenue. The educational, informational talk show in GH with your favorite girl, Laina Yoko. Time check, 12 minutes past the hour, and today is Tuesday, the 27th day in the month of October in the year 2020. And we are live on Premier FM Ghana. You can watch us on Facebook live at Premier FM Ghana or YouTube Premier FM Ghana, and you can listen online on our online radio box at Premier FM Ghana. Do me a favor, it is very important. Let's share, let's start a watch, but let's educate people out there, because education is the best thing we can give ourselves. Good afternoon, Bennett Techi takes it. Bennett says that COVID is real. Indeed, it is real. Believe the Abigail says, hope pretty horse is doing good. Yes, by the grace, I'm doing well. Someone Saka says schizophrenia. Interesting. You see the doctors when they come online, then they are giving us pressure. Sami Saka, please come and mention the word. This is it's doctors' word too. Mental. A lot of people are on the street. They are mad, but it's only few who are roaming. Today, Cindy, we will have to diagnose you. Someone says that interesting topic. We'll diagnose Abentu. Suffocate and suffocate penny. We need to check their mental. You see, sometimes we don't create this awareness. And yeah, we are suffering from this. Sometimes even depression is a mental disorder. People don't know. And a lot of the youth out there are suffering from this depression. They are suffering from this mental disorder, mental sickness. Sigismond, good afternoon. Says interesting and educative program. Fear. Thank you so much. Victor Obina says nice one. Kam Ama Praba says that very interesting topic in Ghana. We do not pay attention to our psychological needs. We think only those walking outside naked are mentally incapable. But one way or the other, we are all bound to suffer mental illness. if we do not pay attention to that. It is very true.
So here need done it by you. I grow and friend now will be a country. I dare some bone now to a tree.
Parkway CNG says good afternoon so far. Good afternoon, Sofu Penny. So far to think, Kwala. I salute you, man of God.
I want friend in you, my dear Dawaji. You benefit better, because
you are tuned into Youth Avenue, the lunchtime show with 6 to educate, to entertain, to inform everyone out there, especially the youth. The youth are concerned. We serve you more than a meal. Stick and stay, don't change the dial, don't touch your phone. Stay tuned in to Youth Avenue. Do me a favor, this is very important to me. It is very crucial. If you educate one person, we educate the whole world. So let's share, let's start the watch party, let's like, comment. Remember, Youth Avenue is coming live to you by the courtesy of Royal Media College, School of Journalism, Media Studies and Languages. Royal Media College is located at Kwashiman, Hope City, Happy Kids School. Royal Media College is certified and approved by Ghana Education Service, GES, and also affiliated with Institute of Commercial Management, ICM England. Umpero Pedeng. Make your dream come true. Because Royal Media College makes dream come true. Royal Media College has ultra modern facilities for your practical needs, the best lectures to impact into your world, affordable fees and flexible terms of payment. The best media school in GA so far is Royal Media College. I recommend Royal Media College for you if you want to become a DJ, sports presenter, and news anchor, a program host, a photographer. Then Royal Media College is the deal for you. Don't go anywhere, don't think too much. Once again, congrats to the gallant journalists who won award last weekend, just this very weekend. To all the FM stations, the multimedia group, congrats on your award, on your achievement. Believe that Abigail says that nicely delivered. God is infinite. Bless Dr. Pretty Host and your production team. Amen, and God bless you too for listening and watching. On the bus and Pastor Ismail Fire says, God bless you guys for doing the listening, for watching live on Facebook, YouTube. Don't forget to share, start a watch party. Let's educate everyone out there. Let this video reach everyone out there. We are educating people. So today, like I said, we are looking at schizophrenia, mental illness. And we have on board a registered mental nurse from Asin Fosu, who is going to educate us on what schizophrenia is. At what age does one get schizophrenia? What are some of the signs and symptoms? Are there clear indicators? Schizophrenia. Are there clear indicators like that? So stay tuned, stick and stay, still Youth Avenue live in the studios of Prima FM. And today we are going to educate ourselves more on schizophrenia. So you don't want to miss. Tell a friend to tell a friend, share. Let's get interactive. Send your comments, your contributions to us live, and we'll gladly read them. So special birthday going out to all October born. Stay tuned. If you want to sponsor Youth Avenue, you can call Premier FM 10244627930 or 0244627931. For all your advertisement needs, Premier FM got your back. Solid brand. Will meet your expectation. Will deliver. More than deliver. Come on, boy, let's grow the brand. Stay tuned. We have Mr. Bennett, Pechi texting on the line. Hello, dog. Mr. Bennett, Pechi texting. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please, how are you doing? Please, can you raise your voice a little? I could hardly hear you.
Sorry. Hello, yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bennett. How do you do?
Please, I'm doing good by the grace of God.
We bless God. Great to have you once again. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, great to have you. Welcome to Premier FM, the Youth Avenue show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, still your voice is very low. I don't know. Okay, all right.
Is it okay now?
Yes, please. It's better now. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, so today we are looking at schizophrenia, but before that, we know it's one of the mental health disorders. So, what is mental illness? Before we look at what schizophrenia is, please.
Okay, mental illness is a disorder of one or more of the functions of the mind, which causes suffering to the patient or others. That is the psychological state of the fellow or the individual has emotionally or behavioral problems that need a serious psychiatric intervention.
That is what.
Like in broad or in short or in summary, like when you say mental illness, it's disease of the mind.
Interesting. Disease of the mind.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so let's look at schizophrenia and the mental illness. What is schizophrenia? This word is actually that's why it's a mental illness. I get it.
Schizophrenia. When you say schizophrenia is a Greek word meaning split mind.
Split
mind.
Okay.
So it's a Greek word which means what? Split mind.
Okay.
So schizophrenia is a severe mental disorder characterized by disintegration of the process of thinking, contact with reality, and emotional responses. There may be remissions and relapses, and the client or the fellow who is suffering from the condition may not have insight into his or her condition. There may be the client may live in a world of fantasy, full of delusions, hallucinations, and illusions. When you say delusion or someone is deluded, delusions are fixed false beliefs. They are fixed false beliefs that cannot be changed with logical reasoning. Like, let's say the client or the fellow or the patient may say that he or she is God, or he or she is this. No matter what you do, you cannot use anything to change his idea or his mentality. And when you say hallucination, they are false perceptions without an external stimuli. They are false perceptions without an external stimuli. And then illusions are misinterpretation of what? External stimuli. So let's say for the illusion, let's say you are having a tie, but when the client or the fellow or the individual sees that thing, he may see it as snake or he may perceive it as different thing altogether. And then hallucination, I said they are what? False perception without an external stimuli. The thing is not there. The client may say that he is seeing something, he is hearing some voices. If you get what I mean.
Yes, please, I do. Okay, how common is this schizophrenia? How common is it?
Schizophrenia occurs in all societies or without regard to class, color, or culture. It affects 1.1% of the population above the ages of 18 years, which is estimated to be 51 million people worldwide.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it also affects both men and women. So for the men, let's say late teens or early 20s. That's for the men, and then the women mid 20s to early 30s equally. Yes.
Okay. Someone is asking if you could explain the disease of the mind as you explained with the mental illness. It says if you could explain further.
The disease of the mind.
Yes.
As in mental illness.
Yes, please.
I said let's say one or more of the functions of the mind which causes suffering to the fellow or the patient, or it causes suffering to others around the individual or the client.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, please. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have
so like the way the client may do things, the way the fellow may behave or react to people, it may cause harm to them, or even it may interfere with his or her daily living activities. So that one, you may see that the person's mind is distorted or it has been changed.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's also asking, Lawrence Lamte is asking, do delusions only need an external stimuli to be diagnosed, please?
Delusions?
Yes. Does it only need an external stimuli to be diagnosed?
Please get it clear. I said delusions, they are fixed false beliefs. Delusions, they are fixed false beliefs that cannot be changed with what? Logical reasoning. They are fixed false beliefs that cannot be changed with logical reasoning. Logical reasoning. So when the person says or the client says he is God, no matter what you do, there's nothing which is going to change that idea the individual is having in his or her mind. We have persecutory delusion. That one, let's say the client thinks that his or her fellows or people are thinking that they are going to harm him. So no matter what you do, he or she is having that idea or is having that concept in his mind that no matter what you do, you cannot change that thing from his or her mind, if you get it clear.
Okay. All right. Do we have types of...
And that of the hallucination that he brought in the external stimuli. Hallucination, they are false perceptions. They are false perception without an external stimuli. So the hallucination is false perception without external stimuli. So let's say nothing is there, but the client perceives that, or he
there's
sees that
there.
there's something there.
Okay.
If you get it.
Okay, interesting. Are there types of schizophrenia?
Yes, please. You have 5 main types of schizophrenia, being the organized schizophrenia or hebephrenic schizophrenia. We have catatonic schizophrenia, and the catatonic, we have 2 phases, tupulous phase and excitement phase. And then we have paranoid schizophrenia, undifferentiated schizophrenia, and then we have residual schizophrenia.
How can a mental illness be organized? You said one of the types, organized schizophrenia. How can it be organized if it's still related to the mental or mental?
I said disorganized.
Disorganized.
Schizophrenia or hebephrenic schizophrenia.
Okay. I thought I had. Can you briefly explain, just in summary, briefly, what they are all talking about, and which among them is the common, the most one that you recall at the hospital?
For the disorganized schizophrenia, the onset or the time it comes or the symptoms may start usually between the ages of 25 or before the ages of 25. And when the individual is having that condition or that disease or that schizophrenia, there may be silly giggling. The client may laugh or may be laughing. The client may be smiling, and then in the near future or in a short possible time, he may be crying as well. So he may cry, and then they may be laughing and smiling like interchangeably. So they may be silly giggling.
Okay.
The individual or the fellow may exhibit verbalization, like one word he may be repeating him or herself. So that's what verbalization. The client may also have this delusion or hallucination, and the hallucination is basically auditory hallucination, and visual hallucination may also come in. That it's regression, like he may be doing things like a child. So even in times of hunger, or if he's suffering, he's hungry, he may be crying for food. The client may even soil him or herself, like he may be toileting or urinating onto himself or herself. There may be neglected personal hygiene. His personal hygiene will be neglected. So that's what is organized schizophrenia. And when it comes to the catatonic schizophrenia, it is normally marked with abnormalities in motor behaviors. It is marked with abnormalities in motor behaviors. When you say motor, we all know that it's a moving vehicle. So meaning the movement of the fellow, or the actions or the activities of the fellow or the client is either retarded or agitated. That brings about the two phases. That's the stupulous phase and then the excitement phase. So the stupulous phase is characterized by extreme psychomotor retardation. The movement of the fellow or the activities of the fellow is retarded. There may be mutism, there may be waxy flexibility. No matter how the patient may place him or herself, you can go to town and come back. The client may assume that position. Most of the times, let's say when we are going to play football, or when there's some football time, people assume some poster, they can be there for a long time. So that may be an example of what. That I'm not saying that people or that fellow is suffering from schizophrenia, but when they assume that poster, when they assume that position, it's termed as waxy flexibility. Yeah. So there may be mutism, there may be waxy flexibility. The client may be withdrawn, they may not go to people, they isolate themselves, and so on and so forth. And when it comes to the excitement phase, that one is characterized, or there are extreme psychomotor agitation. So the client is always saying and they are distractive. They may be impulsive, and they are also unpredictable. Once the client is aggressive, they are unpredictable. They can do anything at any time in point. Yes.
Okay.
So that's also catatonic schizophrenia. So when it comes to paranoid schizo or paranoia schizophrenia, for them it is mainly characterized by the presence of delusions of persecution. The client may be grandiose. They may think that they are bigger than each and everybody, or they may be bigger than everybody in this world. So that's persecution, grandiosity.
Okay.
And then they may also have auditory hallucinations. Or they may be saying that they hear some words or certain things in their ears, of which you are not hearing them. So they are hallucinating in the midst of auditory. And then they may be suspicious or argumentative. Let's say if 2 or 3 people are gathered at a point, they may think that the client may think that those that are planning negative things about him or her. They may try to harm him or her in some way. So that's what paranoid schizophrenia. They are always suspicious. Yes.
Okay.
And then the undifferentiated schizophrenia, as the name comes, undifferentiated. You cannot differentiate that type of schizophrenia. So the symptoms the client may portray or they may possess, it may be 2 or more of the aforementioned types. They may possess 2 or more of the aforementioned types, or the type of characteristics or the types of symptoms they are possessing is different from any of the criteria for diagnosing them. So that one may be classified or may be named as the undifferentiated type.
Okay. We have another question. Is Amma Prabha is asking, is it genetic? Is schizophrenia a genetic disorder or something? Can we inherit it?
That is a causes of schizophrenia, for the genetic or the hereditary means.
Okay, so it could be a genetic factor. Well, it could be under the causes. Briefly, can you mention just 3 causes of schizophrenia?
What?
The causes, just 3 of them. major causes?
So for the causes of schizophrenia, we have, as he mentioned earlier on, the genetic or the hereditary factor. We may also have biological factors, which may be either imbalance of dopamine or the serotonin neurotransmitters, and then excess of the neurotransmitter, that's the serotonin and then the dopamine. So biological factors, the genetic factors, the environmental factors, precipitating and triggering factors. So the precipitating or the triggering factors may be either loss of job, failure in examination, bereavement, marital disappointment, extreme poverty.
Okay.
And then the last cause may also be socioeconomic factors.
Okay. How is it diagnosed, please? Can you tell us how schizophrenia is diagnosed?
Okay. For schizophrenia, how it is diagnosed? Schizo is either based on some examination we do, that's what mental status examination, either psychiatric history of the client or careful clinical observation of the fellow. So if the client presents a thought disorder, or if the client is having some delusions, the client is having some hallucinations, and then incongruity of what effect, we may base on that to diagnose the client as what schizophrenia. So the presence of what thought disorders of bodily influence, that's hypochondriacal, and then hallucination and what incongruity of effect. Please.
Okay. How is it curable? Is it? Do you think that is curable? Can we say that we can wipe away? Exactly. Can we take schizophrenia from anyone that is suffering? Is it curable or it's manageable?
Thank you very much. Schizophrenia is manageable. When the disease comes or when one contracted that disease, it has become part and parcel of the individual. So if we manage or the client is under management, he or she may not even cause harm to him or herself or the community as a whole. So it's manageable, but it's not
curable.
It has become part and parcel of you. So we are going to manage it in a way that you are not going to cause harm to yourself or the community as a whole.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we have Priscilla in the studios. I think she has a few questions. Then we'll take a few questions online from our viewers as well. So, yes.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
Yeah. I know someone who was very normal as I was growing up, an older man. He's been okay for a while, but all of a sudden he started drawing away from people. Everything you ask him to do, he doesn't want to do it. He was even given a phone. He said he doesn't want to use it because he feels like it's going to harm him. He doesn't want to take his bath. He doesn't want to eat. He doesn't want to take medicines. For somebody like this, what can you do to help the person? Because everything you possibly could do, you are doing it, and he doesn't want you to help him. So how can you help such a person who is staying with you as a relative, and they don't even want to be checked into the hospital?
If I hear you clear, you said the fellow or the individual who is suffering from whatever you may say, or whatever you are saying is like he doesn't want your help. Is that it?
Yes, like the person doesn't want to eat, doesn't want to take their bath, they don't want to take care of themselves in any way, no medication, nothing, and they sort of isolate themselves from people, and they don't even want to be checked by a doctor. So with all these signs, I'm thinking it's connected to this schizophrenia thing. So how can you help such a person since they're not willing to be helped?
Okay, once the individual don't want to adhere to whatever or any help you people want to do, the first thing is to send him to a psychiatric ward or a psychologist. They may be in a position to help you best, because when a client or an individual is brought in as a psychiatric client, we don't start doing or giving medication at the spot, even if the client is or in the process of client harming his neighbors or the staff around. We may sedate the client. That's what the medical management we may do for the fellow. We may sedate the client and upon recovering from his sedation, he may adhere to whatever we may do to him or her. So if you send him to a psychiatric ward, they may take him through some process, and that one may bring him out of his suffering. That one may be as a result, or if I get you clear, what the fellow is suffering may be as a result of, let's say, depression, maybe as a result of some conditions or some suicidal ideas. So for now, once I've not seen the fellow or I've not observed the individual, I may not draw a conclusion to whatever you may
okay,
say,
because
hospital for him to be up.
All right, thank you, sir. Because with all that you are saying, that's what the family members thought should be done, to have him checked into a hospital or something. But he said when he's taken there, he'll shout and scream and run away. So for such a person, how can you talk them to agree with you? Because they need the help and they don't think they need it.
Yeah, for sure. At times, the clients, they may think that they don't need anybody's help. Whenever you give him or her the medication, he may tell you that he's not sick. They are not feeling any condition, but yes, so they need an assistance. That's why I said take him to a nearby clinic or a hospital, even if you may need a referral to the big hospital like Anchor Falls Psychiatric Hospital or Accra Mental. He may be helped over there.
Okay. Any more questions, Priscilla? Okay, there's another question online. Lawrence Lamte wants to know what are dopamine. I hope I had it. I'm pronouncing it right. Dopamine. Okay, and serotonin. Okay, Lawrence, why are you doing this to me? Serotonin.
Serotonin and dopamine, they are neurotransmitters. Let's say, it's made up our upbringing, and I say, yen inyama ye anase yen apomizin ebua ye wo yen muno. If there is a shortage of that dopamine receptor system, and I say serotonin in our body, now say maybe as an exotic, and I say SSR.
Oh, okay. I see. And how do you check this, the dopamine and the serotonin? How do you check them? Because to know whether it's in excess or it's in shortage.
I have to say, protein at the other way.
Okay.
What I say, your baby did the air can say, if you was containing all the 6 nutrients, and after all the major nutrients at their right proportion.
Okay.
For you to be on the safer side, I was almost said that Indiana would contain the major nutrients at their right proportion, and God being so good, you are going to get whatever it is sufficient in your heart.
Okay. Priscilla will have another question, then we'll take 2 more questions online, then that will be it.
Yeah, so I want to ask that how can we prevent schizophrenia?
For the management of schizophrenia,
how can we prevent it?
For the prevention, we have primary prevention, we have secondary prevention, and then tertiary prevention. For the primary prevention, let's say we don't want the condition to occur. And they was sensitized, they was education and also around. Yes. We are promoting mental health education and mental health talk. Let's say people they think they have their parents have suffered this condition. So if you start from the scratch, say once your fellow and I say when the baby has that condition, I know that automatically you are also going to get it. By starting from some ways, you know what I should enter the same environment, community, what I clinic in Hoina. This infections and such about Brahma Yanya condition. You see me now, and I say, Brebeni now, I know Paya. And Nobabua, Emma, Yaden, yes, you are no point. And I think for the secondary one to, let's say, condition, I had Abba, into what said. If you see, no question about your west, and I say, answer crap. So, early diagnosis or early treatment, referring the individual in treatment send all kind or clients now and that's be all now would say or suffer and so or yari sano what I would mean finding all can if you want to be empty and no concern and aggravate for something else and something big. And then the role of the community psychiatric nurses should also be what more.
Okay.
But
All right.
prevention, it's okay with you.
So primary, we have primary, secondary, and tertiary.
And then tertiary.
Okay, and primary has to do with a cleaner environment and education. Okay.
Yes.
Early diagnosis. Okay.
Adequate genetic counseling for vulnerable groups. Even if they've been a group of schizophrenia, you counsel them, you educate them. You're aware of the condition that they are suffering or they are prone to get. Then in the near future, they are not going to find themselves there wanting with that condition. And then early diagnosis for the secondary, early diagnosis, and then treatment. And then if the client is suffering from that, you refer them to the nearest treatment center for them to be helped with.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's take 2 more questions, then that will be it. Lawrence is asking, how long should there be thought disorders in an individual before one is diagnosed as schizophrenia or schizophrenic? Yeah.
How often should one be?
How long should there be thought disorders in an individual before one is diagnosed as schizophrenic?
You earlier asked of how to diagnose it, and I said for the diagnosis there should be any of the 3 or any of the aforementioned ones. That's presence of thought disorders, delusion and feeling of bodily influence. That's hypochondriacal, and then hallucination and or incongruity of effect. So if any of the aforementioned, the 3 mentioned characteristics or criteria, the fellow meets that any of them, we may say that the fellow is suffering from what? Schizophrenia.
Okay. They don't want to go. Okay, so I think I have a few questions as well. Lawrence is asking, what can we do to maintain balance in order to escape schizophrenia? What can we do to maintain balance in order to escape schizophrenia? I think can we classify this as a prevention method?
Yes, please.
So it's in line. Okay, then let's take this question. It says, in relation to Priscilla Watson's first question, I believe the quality rights cover clients with mental disorders. When is it necessary to force treatment for a client? Can you give us a little insight on the quality rights of mental patients?
The right of a client, clients have a right to refuse medication. But we are doing it solely to help the fellow. So as much as possible, the client have a right to refuse medication. Talking to him or her in some way may even help him to, like him refusing the medication, he may adhere to it. If you get me clear.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And one last thing is, Lauren says, how long should there be the symptoms? Is it a day, a week, or a month? How long should there be?
As I said earlier on, or in our
earlier submission.
Yeah, I said we cannot depend solely on one symptom or solely on one thing. If the client has portrayed only this thing, then we draw a conclusion to that. But persistent doing of that thing. It is maybe I'm saying so being the BP. I was sure I want to be and she turned in Sabah. I want to say when you have high blood pressure, it should be consistent.
Consistent. Okay.
Instead of over for 1 week, another, you take some risks to go and check the BP so that you know your baseline. So when you are drawing down, you may know that, I'm going down. When you are going higher, you may conclude that I'm going higher. So in so doing, you may say that, the client or the individual is suffering from this condition.
Okay. I want to ask these 2 questions. Can we say at a point that if not treated, schizophrenia is not treated, it can escalate to another disorder? Another disorder in addition. Is there something like that it can escalate to that point or that level? And
schizophrenia, and I make us say, well, a view of my simple. So the simple of the procedure one difference is a sign of the man if the client will laugh. So your definition, you know, you who said there are what releases and relapses. So the client who gets me, I can say, one man, the condition of a form and after a subsided. So the client is a one person and final drone, one person and daily reviews. Yeah, that's when so that's why it is very, very important that then as your hospital, the doctors to write or the prescribers to write and our review date for us to come again for review. The clients in the teacher, we don't give them the medications or the treatment for them to go and be there. We give them the medication and then report if there anything worrying them.
Okay.
The more 1 month to 1 month, so we're 15 days, so I'm we even follow them in their community to go and visit them. That's why you have home visiting and outreach centers.
Okay.
So we go there to.
Okay. And is it effective? How often do you visit? Hello?
Hello.
How often do you visit? Because I think that there are a lot of people at home with these conditions. They don't want to be helped. They don't want to come. How often do you visit to be able to assist them?
For the visiting, we do it monthly.
Okay.
Not necessarily only one person will be visiting you day in and day out, but once our clients are plenty,
okay.
We do visit them, yes.
Okay. And one last question. Then Priscilla says she has another question. I think we don't want you to go today. Are you not at risk, you taking care of these mental people? In any way, does it affect you mentally by taking care of them? Do you think that you can also take some few symptoms or something from them and become mental? Like have that symptoms as well? Because I've been meaning to ask. Like sometimes I ask my friends, can you get to a point say, most of when you start behaving funny?
That's a question each and everybody, or day in and day out, at the place of each and everybody. Then again, once you are treating these people or you are taking care of these people, at the end you are also going to suffer from this condition or this sickness. It's not like that. Difference is malaria, malaria.
So once a way different. Once a way, sometimes. Yes. I was told that sometimes you have to act like you're also suffering from the illness before you are able to get closer to them. So I think one way or the other, unconsciously, probably you might be getting a few symptoms or yes, I don't know, but that's what I was told, that sometimes you act like you're also in that same condition.
Just to relate to them.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
We've learned the abnormalities and the normalities. So we know the abnormalities. So, for example, if let's say someone is having some condition, and I want to explain myself to someone, in so doing, can you say that I am also suffering from that condition? Let's say you want to understand something well. So in a way of me explaining that thing to you, does that mean that I've get that condition?
So
when we say normality, when we are abnormal, when we are normal.
Okay.
But once I hear different day, you're free as a support of you have to be unpredictable future.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so all of us are blown off on ourselves. We are at risk of getting the condition, or we are
okay. Okay, Priscilla, briefly.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask that why are there so many mad people out there on the streets? Aren't there enough asylums for them, and why have they been allowed to be there? Because I feel like they're still human beings. Even if they are not okay in their brains or something, they still are alive, and something could be done for them. So what is the reason why they are found on the streets, and what can be done to get them off?
Those roaming in the street?
Yes, the mad people you see on the streets. Why are they there? Why are there so many? Aren't there enough asylums for them? And I feel like they're human beings that should still be taken care of, even if they are sick, up there in their minds or something. So what can be done to get them off the street? Because there are still people that I feel like could be helped.
Very, very interesting. Thank you. Let's say if one is suffering from malaria, all of us or some of us will see that the person is suffering from malaria. If it's not bring the individual or the fellow to the hospital, his or her malaria cannot be treated. Sorry. So once we've seen those roaming in the community, even us, the client that we are treating them, it's very, very hard for us to get the medication and then the treatment received. It's very, very hard for us to get. So we cannot just get up and then go outside there and bring those clients roaming in the street for us or for us to take care of them.
Wow.
It needs someone. We need your help. We need the help of the authorities, the government, the president. All of us have to come together in their help or in us helping those individuals which need our help.
Wow.
As I said, the clients we have, the medication we are even using to help them, it's not coming.
Enough.
The medications are not coming. The supports are not coming.
We
cannot just go into the street and then say that we are bringing these clients to our facility to treat them. It all depends on their family member. If they bring them to the health centers or the health places, we are also there to help them. And the medications also need to be coming.
Okay.
Definitely, it's very hard to get some of the medications, but God being so good, we are also getting them small too.
So it's because the medications are not enough. That's why they are out there. Hello?
No.
The medications are not enough. That's why they are out there. So it means when we have more, we can take care of more.
But also,
besides say, in drona mo you say a bomb no, and also internal more outside the baby sano.
It's not that the medications are not plenty, but even those we are treating them, medications and back, they've been born back. Who may your far over prayer and sanawaya then when you even suffer before even you get the medication. And almost more outside. I say, almost for 8 hours, almost they don't even cater for them. You bet to me, you can even go to Akapo, Akamenta. We have some clients over them, but like I say, almost relatives, almost pet. Now, almost for them to go and take care of them again. Clients, it's only need them. We only need them taking good care of them by giving them their medication. But the baby job, about the chair, facility, and I say, let's one background, taking good care of them. No, you are my heading.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Bennett, thank you so much. But before you go, advice to anyone suffering from schizophrenia and also to our family members how to care for people briefly because of time, please.
All right. Mental illness is real. It's with us in the community. So we should all join hands in care of what? These people. Not saying only schizophrenia, mental illness as a whole is in our community. So all of us should join hands in what? Caring for these people, and then we should stop labeling or stigmatizing these fellows who suffer from what? Mental illness or this condition, please.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. It's been great to have you.
Thank you very much for your time and everything. Whatever day you do, keep doing for us.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Have a lovely day. All right. It's been a great session indeed. Thank you so much, guys, for your contributions, your comments, like, share. You are tuning to Youth Avenue, the Lunchtime Show with 6 to educate, inform and entertain everyone out there, especially the youth. We've had a great session today, an educative one, learning, educating ourselves on mental illness. And we specifically looked at schizophrenia, what it is, how we can manage it. It is not curable, but it can be managed. How to care for people like that. It's been great. Thank you so much, Audi. Thank you so much, RM Bennett Texan. God bless you. And to you, my lovely viewers and listeners. Loris Lampe, thank you. Samosaka, Sigismond, Believe, Abigail, Janet, Nweki Tete, God bless you. Ama, Baba, Bakwesi Entry, God bless you. Oini Basempa, God bless you. Victor Bina, God bless you. Thank you so much for all those who liked, shared. We appreciate the support. Special birthday going out to Bestie. Bestie Abuna Afra Kuma in Kumasi. From your bestie, DJ Popular. So from DJ Popular, like I say all the time, the guy with a lot of women. When you're beyond any birthday with to saw about pet. So from DJ Popular to you, Abuna Afra Kuma in Kumasi, DJ Popular is wishing you a great happy birthday. Thank you. It's been great. It's been fun, educative, and informative. Let's do the same time tomorrow, 12:30 to 2, as we treat letters to now. We have an interesting letter tomorrow to deal with. So stick and stay. But before we go, I want to acknowledge our director, Nanedu Asante. God bless you. Our executive producers, Mr. Samuel Asante Nuro. God bless you. And Nanedu Asante, God bless you for producing and believing in us. And to our programs manager, the boy, God bless you. And our line managers, Miss Rella and Ebenezer Jamfi. And today, my DJ Secret, God bless you. I appreciate guys for the great work. Priscilla, the entire team, my producer, Akumia the Grace. God bless you all. Time check is 1 minute past the hour 2. And up next is Salvation Now with Osofo Mpe Ezams, Evangelist Bakwesi Entry. So stick and stay. Osofo Penny. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuning to Premier FM because the word of God is going to descend in the studio. Thank you so much, my lovely viewers and listeners. We'll do the same time tomorrow. Have a blessed one.